It's off to Smart for the seventh game. No, couldn't have been tipped in, but the buzzer sounded. And the last team to make it into the Eastern Conference playoffs, they lost only after they had won 3 straight games to start this series in Miami. It'll be the Heat. We'll take a break with Inside the...
Jason, can you take us through the first play? What happened with your ankle and how did that impact you for the rest of the game? Shots still didn't go down, and in turnovers, just what happened personally?
Lucas.
The Boston Celtics have come so close to a championship within the last 2 seasons, but still haven't found a way to get it done. And this year's loss in the Eastern Conference Finals was the spark that led to change for them this offseason, though. Brad Stevens has been with this team for years and has seen this roster develop into one of the best the NBA has to offer. With the moves that Brad Stevens made to this roster, as well as an array of many other reasons, I'm here today to predict that the Boston Celtics will win the 2024 NBA Finals and be crowned champions for the first time since 2008. Many have questioned whether Tatum can lead his team to a championship. We know that he can put up numbers, but can he take them all the way? My answer to that is yes. And in the last 2 seasons, we've seen him lead Boston past superstar-studded teams in the playoffs, such as the Nets, the Bucks, the 76ers, as well as the Heat. Not to mention him being one of the most clutch players in the entire league. Notably, this past season, putting the team on his back down 3-2 in Philadelphia and outscoring the 76ers by himself in the last minutes of the game. We have seen this man put up some insane stat lines in crucial games, like Game 7 versus Philly this year where he dropped 51 points in a blowout win. How about last postseason versus the Bucks on the road, where he dropped 46 points in a Game 6 win, leading them to win the series in Game 7. And of course the sweep of the Nets a couple seasons ago, where he had a game winner in Game 1, as well as 45 points in Game 3. And those are just to name a few. His laundry list of crazy stat lines in playoff games is second to none. Now we have his running mate Jaylen Brown, who just got dealt the biggest contract in NBA history. And Brown has had some struggles in recent postseasons for sure, but that's not to say that he's the reason they lost some games, even if it kind of is. He averaged a respectable 22 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists last season in the playoffs to pair with Tatum's 27, 10, and 5. Looking past the 2 stars on the team though, diving into the roster as a whole, you can see why I like them to win it so much. While losing Marcus Smart is a hurt to Celtics fans and the culture, bringing in a player like Porzingis, who's 7'2", averages 2 blocks a game, and can stretch the floor is insane to say the least. His addition will spread the floor even more for the Celtics and for Joe Mazzulla's 3-heavy offense and make things so much easier for them in a whole. They also lost Grant Williams this offseason, who was a great and reliable 3-and-D player for them. But at the same time, I think he's pretty replaceable. As a Celtics fan myself, I saw his highs and I saw his lows. And let's just say the lows were pretty low, so I think they'll be okay without him. 2 players I want to highlight for the Celtics this year are Derek White and Rob Williams. Starting off with Derek White, we saw him blossom into the player that we all thought he was going to be when Boston traded for him 2 years ago at the trade deadline. He's become kind of a smart duplicate, not in the same tenacity and the same hustle way, but he can stretch the floor, he can make plays, take charges, do the dirty stuff that Smart would, and I think he'll be a great replacement for him. As well as Rob Williams, while he can't stay healthy too much, I think if he can get on the floor this year and stay healthy for at least 50, 60 games, let's say, he's going to make a huge impact. He is the anchor of that defense, and without him, they look kind of lost in the paint. We saw teams abuse their paint defense this year. As well as that, this team is really deep from top to bottom. I like what they've built with the 3-and-D shooters. They have big wings. O'Shea Brissett, they just picked up in the offseason, who I think is a really underrated pickup. I like Sam Hauser to average 40% from 3 this season. Maybe a guy like Peyton Pritchard can even step in with the lack of guards that they have on this team. The reason why I like this team to win it so much is that they have the playoff experience now. They've been there. JT and JB are basically vets of the league now. Al Horford and Blake Griffin are long-term NBA vets who have been in the playoffs many, many times in their career. And in a rough stretch in the playoffs where they call timeouts, they need guys like Horford and Blake to get them together, to rally the team, to make sure that things go smoothly if things are going wrong. The last point I want to make in this video is that on paper, this team meshes together so well. While they did lose glue guys like Smart and Williams in the offseason, bringing in Porzingis, like we mentioned before, is going to bring them a whole new world of opportunities on offense and on defense as well. My ideal starting lineup for this team in 2024 is going to be Derek White at the 1, Jaylen Brown at the 2, Tatum sliding into that 3 spot, Porzingis at the 4, and Robert Williams at the 5. This lineup has everything. And with all that being said, I want to come back to this video in a year and see my prediction pan out correctly. I have a feeling that this team is going to get it done this year. I don't know what it is. I just feel it this year. I know we've said that in past years about this Celtics team, but something's different about them this year. I feel like the additions they made are going to put them way over the top. And while the East is getting way harder than it has been in previous years, the Celtics are still the top of the top. I think this year in the regular season, they'll range from around the 2 to the 3 seed, most likely the 2. The Bucks will probably take the 1 because they play so good in the regular season. And if you want my true finals prediction, I'm going to take the Celtics in 7 games over the Los Angeles Lakers in the NBA Finals to win their 18th NBA championship.